All right, we're recording. Welcome to Grafana Tempo Community Call, August 2023. Going to be the greatest of all Grafana Tempo community calls. Actually, might be the shortest. We don't have a ton, but we'd be glad to talk about whatever is on anyone's minds. So we'll talk about the few things we have on the agenda. I know Ruben wanted to talk about searching tags from the back end, so we can get that in there. And then I don't know if anybody has any questions or just wants to chat generally. Be glad to do that too. I think the first part of this is something of the, Joe Elliott show. I'll basically be running it unless somebody on my side wants to jump in, but I think we're pretty thin today on the Grafana side, so I might just be doing the whole thing. So anyways, Tempo 2.2 was cut, and so far so good. Interested in people's reactions to that. If anybody has any thoughts there, I thought we did a really huge release. Which I'm really excited about to get all that in one release, but it did take a long time to cut, actually. It took me a solid, I don't know, week, basically, of little small tasks to get that out. 2.2 is awesome. Check out the release notes. I think somebody posted it in the doc. Thank you. Blog post also has some cool content. Someone has found a panic in the metrics generator that we have not seen. I don't know why. It's kind of odd that somebody would trip across this and we didn't, but they posted it in our public Slack yesterday, I think. So there might be a 221 once we find this panic. We don't see it anywhere, but they are stumbling across this concurrent access to a map. So you can't do that in Go. And we do, apparently, under certain conditions. So we will probably post a 221. If you're not seeing this, it's probably not going to affect you because it's never affected us, basically. So this person just has a specific configuration, I suppose. So possible 221 coming up, and hopefully to kind of patch up this panic. But if you don't see it, don't worry about it, would be my advice. Secondly, a new TraceQL feature already, show shortly after 2.2, so everybody's going to have to be sad and, wait for 2.3 to get it, or to get the feature. Of course, if you are in the kind of person who pulls tip of main, then you already have it. Congratulations. Otherwise, you'll have to be patient. But attribute existence is kind of a cool feature we've been asked for a while. So you're not interested in a value. You just want to know if the attribute exists at all on a span. And we implemented it using, and I'll type this kind of in here. Oh, I already put it in there. Span.foo, not nil. So it doesn't matter if it's a string or an int or any data type. That's just a way to kind of surface any value for a specific attribute. So the first new feature for TraceQL in 2.3, hoping to get a couple more, of course, before we cut it, but expect to see that, I suppose, when we cut 2.3. Hackathon shenanigans. I'd kind of like to share this. It's something we've worked on at Grafana. So we have a hackathon every twice a year, 3 times a year, something like that. I guess 3 times. Thanks, Jenny. 3 times a year. And it's always kind of fun, right, to explore some corner of code that you don't normally get to. Of course, everybody's normally just working on the normal stuff, the day-to-day, and to have some time to be creative is fun. So I wanted to show kind of what we made. This comes with all the caveats of, I don't actually have a roadmap for releasing this or putting it in an open source tempo. But I do think it kind of shows maybe some of our ideas and perhaps where we're headed. So let me share this demo real quick. Doink. So good old Grafana. We have we called it Mega Select because we think it's funny and it's a terrible, terrible name, and for no other reason, basically. So the basic idea here is we have this endpoint. This is all being driven from a repo called Intro to MLT, which I would encourage people to look up. If you're looking for just a quick way to try any of the open source Grafana products, this is a fantastic repo. Just Docker compose up, boink, everything works. It's really cool. So I'm using that Intro to MLT repo, and it's all this kind of like fake data, basically. Oops, let me not do the last 6 hours. That might, oh, good, it did return. Let me do the last, because I've only been running this for about 15 minutes, I think. 30 minutes, let's try that. Ooh, don't fail me now, computer. Okay, there we go. Thinking. My computer is notoriously sad. So hopefully this will return soon. Well, I'd love to share this with y'all. I was kind of, oh, there we go. Cool. I won't go much farther than this for obvious reasons. So the main idea here is at the top, we show kind of like a trend, So for the latency for a given endpoint, in this case, it's called /unicorn. I think we probably see these huge latencies when I opened up Google Meet and all my resources are being taken for Google Meet. So to look maybe back at this part of the trend line would be more interesting. And the idea is down here, you see this same trend on Unicorn broken down by all kinds of different attributes automatically. So every attribute it can find on the spans, basically. So here it's by the status, the span status, right? So like unset or error. Here is the status code. We kind of seeded it with something called infra cluster, which doesn't really exist, but like a fake kind of thing, a fake. Here, let me see if I can't do this. Is this going to die on me? Come on, computer. Anyway, so the idea is basically by automatically breaking down by all of these dynamic attributes, we can very quickly identify, right, which attribute is kind of correlative to the major trend, and it allows us to kind of inform next steps. Like, is this correlating to a specific cluster, or pod, or namespace, or customer, or what? So that's kind of the idea. And the point of the demo is to show that it correlates strongly to a customer, but I think my computer's too bad to even let that happen. And we have way too many exemplars in here. Look at that. I can't even get over them. There we go. So so that's, yeah, so a simple idea, just something we're having fun with. Like I said, no promises, no roadmap. I do think this is an idea we have longer term for Tempo, and we had some fun putting it together for the hackathon. But I don't know, thought it'd be cool.
Nice, that's cool. I like seeing this.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate that, man.
I didn't know what the screenshot was you posted earlier, but
yeah,
the context is great.
It's way worse, the old screenshot. I apologize for the slowness of my computer, but you know how that goes, right? So yeah, so I think this is cool. This is all synthetic data, and it's obviously very busy. We've been working on cleaning it up. It's all synthetic data. I really want to run this into a real environment and see what I actually see there. Because for me right now, it was a good idea that's very busy and needs a lot of fine tuning to turn into a usable tool. But I don't know, maybe if I ran it on real data, maybe I'd see something different, or prioritize it, taking it a different direction. But it was just a fun project we were working on. So this is all trace data, no Mimir, no Prometheus, no Cortex, none of that stuff. This is being surfaced, or this is an API directly returned by Tempo, built on top of that local blocks processor, if anybody's messing with that thing. Cool. All right. That was the entirety of the agenda from the Grafana side. Between Hackathon and Cutting 2.2, we just don't have a ton at the moment. I will open the floor, though, to, I believe, Ruben. You're welcome to explain your idea or what you're looking to do with the end or the tags endpoint.
Yeah, essentially, what I would like to accomplish is currently the tags are limited to, I think there's a complete block timeout. I think this is because we are fetching the tags from the ingester. What I would like to do is to fetch it from the backend. I saw your comments about maybe there are a couple of other things to do before reaching that level or before tackling that problem. So I was thinking on first fetching from the backend and doing this down range, but also there's another possibility of having. Well, I think reading your comments, you mentioned some kind of page level caching.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this is because this is the same idea as I have on having some sort of cache of tags in a separate, I don't know, block or something.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two possibilities that I can think of. But I want to hear your thoughts, and because I want to contribute with this, I would like to have some sort of plan or something that we need to do.
Sure. It's something we've wanted for a while, but have really struggled to get to. So the caching thing is for at the Parquet level. We were thinking about starting to put, like, Parquet's kind of got this idea of a row group. In the row group, there's a bunch of columns, and those are separated into pages. So we've been toying with the idea of putting those pages into cache to just massively reduce the amount you have to go to your backend, your object storage. And that would speed things up and would make this more tenable, which is why I brought it up. Another form of cache we were talking about doing is in the front end, and this would also make this better. Basically, the front end cache would, see a query, like, for instance, for tags or for traces, and then like see that simple job and immediately reply right from a memcache off the front end instead of the whole thing. Now, if you're interested in working on this, what I think you should do that would be awesome is just build the feature. So we can make it configurable so it's off by default. That way it doesn't impact our cloud customers, and it doesn't impact our internal clusters. And we can kind of just see how, I don't even know. My assumption is it's going to be too slow. We take 400 megasecond. I don't think it's going to be too slow for that, basically, is what I think. But if we just have it in the code base, then we can start doing things like building the cache and improving it and have it as an experimental option. And people who are lower scale can use it immediately. Like, if you were a couple megasecond, it would probably work fine. So I think it's a good feature to add, absolutely, if you want to tackle that.
So I can start doing without cache, and then we can have more improvement, right, about the performance.
Right. So if we just get it in the code base, get it behind a flag so it's not turned on by default, then right, every time we make these other improvements, it's going to get a little bit better every time. Once we feel like it performs pretty well at the couple hundred megasecond level, I think we'd be fine with defaulting that flag to true, or just removing the flag entirely, perhaps. I don't know.
Okay, that makes sense. I think that could work. I might want to reach you offline if you can point me through at least some of the files that to look at for the code, because I did some small contributions, but I never touched the query pipeline, the query path.
Yeah. So the good news is that the code we use to access these blocks and find the tags in the ingester is the exact same function you're going to call. So that part's done. Like, getting the tags out of the block is done. It's really going to be the query pipeline part you're just mentioning. So, like, basically right now when you ask for tags, we only send that query to ingesters. We need to go see what blocks exist that fall in the time range, make a bunch of jobs for those blocks. And that code already exists for the search part, for searching, but we'll see a good way to kind of also make that code usable for the tags, perhaps. And then, right. So yeah, that's a good idea. Reach offline. We can talk on Slack. We can talk in the issue, whatever you're comfortable with. And I'll point you to some lines of code and kind of get you started.
Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Absolutely, man. That's awesome that you're interested in giving this a shot. Is wherever you are, your org, are you all just super interested in that historical search?
Sorry, I didn't understand the question.
Oh, like at your job, are you running Tempo at your job?
Yes, I'm Red Hat, so I'm.
Oh, okay. Okay. Pavel was talking about this a while ago too. Okay, you're at Red Hat. I didn't know. Absolutely. Yeah, we would like that. Awesome, Red Hat developer. Please, please contribute this feature. I appreciate it. I didn't realize. Cool. All right. So, Pavel, you're up next with something about the GitHub account bot.
Yes. So in the operator repo, during the release or in the release action, we would like to use a GitHub account to submit pull requests to another repositories. And I know there is a Grafana account that we could potentially use. And if you could help us maybe to see if that Grafana Grot or Grafana bot account, if it could fork to repositories, and if we could use that account to submit the pull request to those two repos.
Okay. I mean, Do you not just need like some kind of API key or token for this external repo? Can we not just save it as a secret in there and use it in CI? What is special about the like GitHub or the Grafana bot or the GitHub account, our GitHub account?
Yeah, exactly. We need a token, but it needs as well to fork those two repositories so that we can so that the account can submit a pull request to those repos.
Oh, you submit a pull request to okay. So you need just like a GitHub token. I don't think we would want to use the same tokens we use for Grafana bot because we're already overloading those. Zach knows. So I think what we might be able to do though is like cut you just a new GitHub token, right? And we can put it in there and you can use it in CI to publish, just like to create PRs basically. So that might be the easiest way to do this.
I think
have
the platform team was pushing more for a like a GitHub action because the tokens on that bot, like you say, are very overloaded. That becomes a problem.
right.
It could get complicated.
There's just like a token, and then there's some other idea that I don't understand, like some kind of bot level thing that I know less about. But what we should be able to do is make a token. Well, yeah, what account would that be under? That's the hard part. I see why you want the bot now. You just want the bot's account, so you don't want the GitHub PR to be opened as Pavel or me
Exactly.
or something like that.
I need
Okay.
a GitHub account that will fork those repositories, and then I need a token of that account to submit the pull request from GitHub Action in the operator.
All right. Does anybody on the Grafana side know who owns Grot or our GitHub accounts? Okay, I can dig some. Who's that?
Julian.
Okay, does he work with us a lot? I know who you're talking about. I didn't realize he was working with. Okay. I will sync with that person. I see what you want now. You just want this to be opened under a generic account, a service account, not a personal account. Absolutely, that makes sense. Okay. I will explain our need. We basically need to build some automation. We just need a token. Is that okay? And it just needs to have basically public rights. All it needs to be able to do is fork repositories, make pull requests, easy things.
Yeah, I mean, they could fork it by hand, and then we would just sync the repo in the GitHub action and submit a pull request.
Do we need to fork it? Can you not just submit a pull request against the existing? Oh, you want to make a branch on a local fork and then, right, okay. I understand your thing now. Okay, can you send me the actual GitHub, whatever this OLM account is, or repo is, just to help me like frame this question?
Yeah, I will put the links here in the document.
Okay. So basically need simple PR rights, and we can right, and we can build the fork ourselves or whatever. Okay. Cool. I will follow up with that and ask Julian. I suppose he's as good of a person to start with as anybody. Most of my conversations with Grafana start with, if this is not the right channel to ask this question in, feel free to send me to that. All right, and Andreas, IPv6, you, sir, have the Grafana Tempo IPv6 expert on this call right now. So any IPv6 questions you have can be easily answered, and that's not me.
Yeah, so my question was if anyone is running Tempo with IP version 6, because we were running into an issue, and the next question would be if there's interest to like if I should be working on it to fix it, and like if there's interest in upstream to have IP version 6 support. Like we run into
support. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, we run into the issue on an IP version 6 only stack. So a stack where there's no IP version 4 enabled.
I think my network is having problems, right, as you're trying to explain. Yeah, I would happily take a issue report if that's something that we need to address. I will say that we do support IPv6 in both IPv6 only environments or dual stack. though the member list only operates on one at a time. So that's going to be the contention there. So even if you're in a dual stack environment, you need to choose if you want to run over IPv4 or IPv6.
Okay, so in general, it should be supported, but yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll take a more exact look on it. I just got a report from our QE that the issue was error getting interface, root IP plus net, no such network interface in the.
That says that the address range is probably out of scope. So that's something we could definitely talk about. If you're in the community Slack, feel free to ping me. I think I'm Z Leslie in there, and yeah, in the Tempo channel, and we can totally chat through this. I think that'd be great.
Awesome, thank you.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, anything else? Any other questions? This is kind of the Grafana Red Hat sync at the moment. Nothing wrong with that, but I think we got some good stuff done, I guess.
Is there a public holiday in the US or something? Because I think usually there are like 5 more people here at least.
I don't know. I think actually most of our community call people are EU. I feel like I don't know why, but at Grafana we're in the middle of a hackathon, so we're a little low partly because of that. People are just kind of off doing their own thing a bit, you know. And then I feel like most of the regulars. Am I making that up? Are most of the regulars EU? I don't know.
Maybe it's just the summer.
Mario's out, Conrad's out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
Summer too, a lot of vacation, PTO. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, everybody take care. Yeah. We'll see you when you see you. Be good.
All right, sounds good. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.